Look who I have today. It's the champ himself, Tristen Epps, the season 22 Top Chef Destination Canada Top Chef winner. Tristen, welcome to the program. It's been a long time, man.
Tom, thanks for having me. It's cool.
Yeah, I think it's like you, me, and Alonzo Mourning that we've done the Charlotte and Miami, and now we come together on Top Chef. It's not too many people have a Charlotte Miami crossover, but of all people, it seems like your Venn diagram hits a lot of different locations. So the fact that you went to culinary school in Charlotte and then was executive chef at Red Rooster there in Overtown, Miami. You're a guy who also has a lot of strong ties to Miami as well. So just right off the bat, I feel apologetic that we haven't done this episode yet. But after we come out of this news that Top Chef is going to Charlotte as well as Greenville, I feel like it's cosmic that we're doing this conversation now that we can talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's actually easier to do this now that there's no secrets, there's no nothing. So it's I don't know. I think it's exciting, right? Like things happen for a reason.
Yeah. So you've been on the road for quite a bit, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
So you're in Houston right now, and I can't tell what is the location of where you're at right now.
So in Houston, I am at June Restaurant. So the restaurant of both Top Chef alums, Evelyn Garcia and Henry Liu. So they've been really gracious and they let me have their restaurant this week. So it's just me and their entire staff doing my entire menu. So hopefully gives them a little bit of rest.
Oh, that's amazing. I want to ask about Henry and June and all that in a little bit. I want to just talk real quick about Charlotte and what Charlotte means to you, because I think with the news of Charlotte being the hub city for Top Chef 23, Maze, our producer, made note of it as it's the MJ season of Top Chef.
I said the same thing. Top Chef season 23. In the land of number 23, I mean, I'm going to call them the two goats. I mean, both of them were 23. But yeah, definitely the Jordan season. So maybe a slight bit of jealousy, a little bit. But like I said, things happen for a reason. But Charlotte, like I said, a little bit of jealousy. I'm excited for Charlotte. I love that city. It was the first place I moved outside of home or away from my parents. And it's the first place I felt like an adult, the first place I had, a lot of paid jobs to be a cook. And it's a place I go back probably once or twice a year. And I hope to come back at some point.
Yeah. I'm really excited for not just North Carolina and the city of Charlotte, but I'm excited for everybody to kind of see what Charlotte can bring to the table, quite literally. And Johnson & Wales, you studied there to get your culinary degree, and it was, I think you told me a long time ago, it's your favorite city that you ever lived in. And whether that stayed true to this day or not, I kind of want to hear why you love Charlotte. And it hit me in a certain place in my lifetime, at the right place, right time, leaving Miami and finding a place where I could raise a family, and a beautiful city, great weather. Not many people in Charlotte are from Charlotte. It's a kind of a kaleidoscope of cultures and people who are moving to start and grow their lives and next chapters in their lives. And it seems like for you, a similar story where you came to Charlotte at a point in your life where you did a lot of growth too.
Yeah, I mean, I also very much love Houston, but Charlotte was, like I said, the place that I feel like I became an adult. I think it's a fantastic city. It's one of the cities I've felt the most comfortable in. I made some of the best friends I've ever had, and, those connections have stayed the same. Johnson & Wales was a great foundation for me. I mean, I think Charlotte started my career. It started the journey to who I am now, and at least professionally. And, I owe the city that. Yeah.
It's a place where a lot of people get their start, whether it's their first restaurant or their first job. For me, I went to college an hour up the road in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And after we decided to leave Miami, the Zika virus was hitting Miami at that time. And my wife was like 3 months pregnant. And we were like, we cannot risk this. And we were kind of always one step foot out of Miami for like we had so much fun in our 20s in Miami. And then like kind of when we needed to grow up a little bit, we were like, all right, where are we going to go? And Charlotte ticked off so many boxes for us. And I'm rooting for a lot of restaurants to get featured onto Top Chef, chefs, as well as just the culture and farming in the local area. And Greenville's an awesome city as well. You said you're jealous. You're wishing this was a Top Chef All-Star season in Charlotte, something that you could come back to and compete. Do you have that itch already?
I mean, I always have the itch for like competitiveness. Like right now, I kind of need to focus a little bit on opening a restaurant and everything. But I mean, I'm not saying if they called, I wouldn't say no. I've just, I mean, the competitive itch is always there. It's just who I am. So I grew up just playing sports on teams and just trying to compete. So, I mean, Top Chef was kind of the same. So, I love it.
Yeah. And you have a different challenge ahead of you here with Buboy, your new restaurant that you're opening in Houston.
Yeah.
Afro-Caribbean restaurant.
Yep.
I watched the Top Chef finale at Chef Adjepong's restaurant, Elmina in DC. Your brother was there.
Yeah.
No one in the audience knew your brother was there. And yet we found ourselves cheering for you. Like the whole audience there. I don't know if you caught this in any of the clips. The audience was cheering for you, Tristen. I don't know if you felt that as you were like watching this season, but I feel like people were really rooting for you to win Top Chef, but also rooting for you in a sense that we want to eat your food, man. We want to go to Houston. We want to go to all the pop-ups you're going to. So this next chapter of your life, it must have been a whirlwind for the past month. But I just wanted to tell you that when we were watching at Elmina, the whole crowd was just rallying behind you, and it was I didn't know, because it's when we're watching independently in our living rooms, right? We don't know how people are picking sides or who they want to see win this whole thing, but that was really cool. I got to say, Tristen.
I mean, I'm really humbled by that. I've received a lot of support. You never know, like, what gets filtered toward what you hear. So, that seems that. I'm sure other people got the same thing. I mean, I went to Chicago directly after, the announcement, and I was with Bailey and with Zubair and with like Cesar, and you could see how much their city really supported them. And then I went to Charleston and with Schwai, and they were just like, we were rooting for you, man. So it's like, you never know. But once again, everyone's been really kind. And, we've sold out a lot of dinners from the support, and it's been fun. It's been really fun just to feed people.
Yeah. I feel bad because we drafted you way too late in the Top Chef fantasy draft. So you must have been cackling just like that cackling when you saw Eric and I. You might know where we picked you. I think it was in the bottom half. I won't say it was last, but obviously one of the worst drafts in the history of Top Chef.
If I remember, I was getting on the airplane listening to it, and I think I got maybe it was 8 or 10 or something like that. But that's on me. That's my fault, right? I don't think I had the world's best showing coming out the gate. So I mean, fair enough.
When you went to Top Chef, did you know that Henry was going to be on Top Chef as well? Because you guys coming from the same city, it felt like there was a little bit of a Houston connection. But as I'm thinking about it, I've talked to Eric and how he didn't know that some of his old, people that he's worked with over the years. And it kind of, you're in this cone of silence, and so you're not able to reach out to people that are you going on Top Chef this year, are you going on? So when you got there, it must have been really cool to see some of your friends, especially Henry.
I mean, I don't know if I necessarily knew anybody else. I knew of some people. I mean, we had some ties through the 6 degrees of separation of being in this industry, but I didn't know until I saw Henry at the airport. And we were both just sitting in line, and both of us had 3 large bags. I was like, where are you going? He's like, Canada. Interesting. And yeah, I mean, we went from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they
So
flew us to separate places. So, because probably just so we wouldn't meet. And I think he was running late for his flight and my flight was directly after. But yeah, we met in line.
What was that realization when you could finally talk about it? Like, oh my God, this is incredible that we're competing against each other on Top Chef.
Oh, I was completely, I felt like really insecure, actually. I mean, not a lot of people have had my food other than like coming to Rooster or coming to other restaurants I've run. But like that's on a, I don't want to say it's a small scale. Like I've cooked and done well, but I knew Henry could cook. And I was like, okay, like there's already a challenge, right? Just right off the bat. And that's one out of however many people they decide to throw on this season. So I was like, oh, well, there's already a challenge because I have had his food in his restaurant. Oh. And yeah, so it was already like weird.
I'd imagine it's like if I had like a writer competition or like like an analyst competition for sports, and I saw someone I really revered and knew that they were really good. I'd be excited, but also like, damn, my chances of winning this thing just went down a lot, you know, because I really respect this person. And you said you played in sports growing up. I feel like Top Chef is like a sport. It really tests your physical, your mental endurance, your acumen, all of it. And it just feels like it is all the things that we love about sports, the elimination aspect of it, the competition aspect of it, hey, you're my friend now, but you're my foe as well. Like there's like teamwork, but it's kind of a gray area of when you're supposed to help someone out. I feel like, Tristen, you'd have some thoughts on this. Like Top Chef, why it has had such a long legacy and has stood the test of time. I feel like it is what Kevin and I love and what Eric and I had talked about this past season. It just feels like a sport. Like you can analyze it and break it down like it's football or like it's soccer or baseball.
I mean, I think of it really a lot like sports. I mean, even to like go back and watch the tape, you know, I like a lot of sports stats. So I use that same kind of like ability or like, you know, focus to do the same thing with food, right? Like I remember one time I was like cleaning 20 pounds of mushrooms and I used to time myself. I was like, all right, it took me 18 minutes to clean all these. Now next time it needs to take me 15. You know, it's getting better every single day. And I feel like I try to do that in sports, right? You stay after practice and you practice what you're struggling on. And I used to stay after work and practice whatever I needed to do, my knife cuts, my everything. And then you go home and the game's not done. You study, and you study the things you don't know, not the things you're good at. So
any other, I think Zubair is a sports fan too, right? Any other sports fans on this season?
Corwin. Definitely Corwin. Right. So, I mean, there was a lot of arguments about sports. We had the big MJ versus LeBron argument. I mean, really all the drama that everyone really wanted happened off camera, like with Uno and Monopoly and like arguing about sports.
Yeah. Yep. Who's you're on team two. You're kind of in the middle. Like you don't want to pick one side or the other on LeBron or MJ.
I'm in that generation where I've gotten to see both successes, so I can appreciate both without like getting in any trouble, right? I think MJ, just by I have 6 championships and I'm undefeated in the finals, wins on that. But I think LeBron is just an insane player and a legacy player for sure. And I mean, I don't know, one-on-one in each prime, like I might say LeBron might take it, but that's all I could say.
Yeah, it might. It's I don't want to, I think where I land on it is, and I don't think I've said this on like my NBA pod, so it's funny that I'm doing it here, but it's like, I feel like LeBron had the better career, but MJ had the better peak. and because of his longevity, and some people think he's a compiler and that he's just like, oh, he's just adding, another 20 years, sure, but you're never gonna win over MJ. And I'm just like, people are so entrenched in one side or the other. I don't think anyone's going to convince the other side. But I'd imagine when you go to Chicago, they certainly feel a certain way
100%,
about that side of the debate.
I think LeBron, I think MJ did more with less than LeBron did. I counted, and there was, LeBron has had 30-something, 31, 32 first-round draft picks on teams that he's played on, as opposed to Michael Jordan, who's had like 11-ish.
Dude, this reminds me of the little clip they showed when you said there were like 94 starters, NBA starters in the Olympics, in the Paris Olympics. They showed that on Top
61.
Chef this year. The fact that you just rattled that off in a BMW while you're competing on Top Chef, I just knew that, Tristen, you have an amazing, beautiful mind, especially in the kitchen, but also when it comes to sports stats. So, what was that conversation? How did that come up? Eric and I were trying to figure out, how did NBA starters in the Paris Olympics come up in conversation in a Top Chef?
I don't remember even who I was in the car with, but I must have been with Zubair or Corwin at some point, because everyone else was like a mathlete. And so they had really no interest in it. But I think it came up with like cultures. And, we got there just as the Paris Olympics was still like towards the end. And I was obsessed with the Paralympics, the Paralympics and the Olympics. But I was like obsessed with it because, one, once again, athleticisms and all of that. But I really love the culture part of it. And as I, South Sudan was like destroying people, and like every time I'd see a country I wasn't very familiar with, it would make me go look it up. Like, who are the people? What language do they speak? And what's their food? And, what is their like national dish? And where can I go? And where does that add? And then I think like the basketball thing came up, and how different it is even now between the kitchen and now, like where before it was very little, right? You had like maybe a couple like NBA players that came from Europe and other places, and now there's just a ton. And like watching the Olympics, it's not like just pure destruction anymore. It's, Team Canada had, arguably one of the best players on their team right now, and SGA.
Yep,
so it just wasn't a walk in the park anymore.
Yep. And you get this, like, Kobe Bryant is Italian because his dad went over there to play basketball, and he has all this multicultural influences, and people are like, how does he know how to speak, Italian or Spanish? And like Luka Doncic comes over here, Slovenian, and he's speaking fluent Spanish. Yeah. And it's like English is his like fourth language, and yet it's fluent. And you learn Goran Dragic. I remember when Goran Dragic in Miami, and he's just speaking fluent Spanish like it's no big deal. And I'm like, because in EuroLeague they just travel and they play for Real Madrid, and then suddenly they're fluent in like 3 languages just by virtue of playing basketball in EuroLeague, and that's just so cool to me. So cool.
Yeah, same. I live by all of that. Like, learn the language, learn the culture, and assimilate it without losing your own. And a lot of soccer players do that. Speak multiple languages because of the teams that they're on, and I love it. Do the same thing.
It came up so much in this season of Top Chef, Tristen, how you are so worldly and you have so many different influences. And I lived here, and I read somewhere that you've lived in 14 different states. Is that true?
Yeah, and I've moved 32 times in my life. Yeah.
32 times. Can you rattle off the 14 states? Because Jamal Crawford, the NBA player, has like 17 NBA coaches, and he can rattle them off like no problem all the way through. Can you do the 14?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Virginia, Florida, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, California, New York, Did I say Connecticut?
No.
Connecticut, Jersey. I don't know where I'm at right now.
You've got 10, 4 to go.
4 to go. Where else have I been? South Carolina, Georgia,
11,
Maryland,
12, 13.
I think. I don't know.
Maybe we've miscounted.
If the last one comes up, I'll try to remember.
Connecticut. Where did you live in Connecticut?
I guess the bigger city to say would be like Groton or Ledyard, like where the sub base is.
Yeah. You're the son of a military mother where you're flying around all over the place. You grew up in, is it fair to say you grew up in Japan, or is that, it's hard to say when you're moving 32 times in
No, I would never say I grew up there. Like I was there. I made an appearance. Same with like Philippines, same with like places like that, like Portugal, Sweden. I was there long enough to like pay a tax, but not long enough to say I grew up anywhere.
What are the pros and cons of having that kind of upbringing? Where do you feel like you're an orphan in some sense, where you don't have like you move so much? Do you at some points in your life think this is a great thing, a blessing, and then other times you're like, man, I just wish I could just be dyed in the cloth of one place for the entire childhood?
Because it was such a norm, I thought everybody did it. Weirdly, I don't know. Like, we lived on base housing for a lot when I was younger, so everyone kind of traveled, and like kids kind of traveled. So I didn't really know that wasn't a thing. I knew that like every summer I went back to Virginia to where my grandmother was, and like the same people were still there, but I never like put it together like that. And it wasn't until maybe I was in college where people were like, like everyone loved going back home. And I was like, I don't need to go back home. Like, I'm fine. And everyone's like, oh, this has been my childhood friend. And then I noticed I didn't have that. Like, I didn't have, my friends since elementary school, because I went to 4 of them, and so, you learn to assimilate and like, and become part of the culture, or else you won't have any friends. But you also learn to say goodbye a lot. And then hopefully, you see them again. And if you do, like, they're really good friends and you keep them around.
Do you think that steeled you for Top Chef? A very lonesome, I would imagine, experience is that you have to be by yourself a lot, and you can't use social media or the internet, or it feels like just being by yourself and comfortable just being by yourself is something you probably did a lot in your childhood.
I mean, I'm comfortable by myself, but I think it actually did the opposite. It let me connect to everybody better. From wherever they were from like whatever their background is. And once again, like I'd probably lived in a state or knew someone. So it actually helped me. I don't have a hard time making friends in a new place because I feel like I know the steps now. Like the first 6 months when you live somewhere sucks, right? Like finding your way, like all of that other stuff. But you always find a connection to someone somehow. And I actively search for it. So I think that's what it did more than like hinder me or inhibit me.
When did Top Chef become a thing in your life? Like that you wanted to be on Top Chef, or that seemed like an attainable goal?
I think maybe season, like the Kentucky season, maybe.
Yeah. So that's Sarah Bradley Kelsey, Bernard Clark, and Eric Adjepong.
Maybe the 15th, like maybe season 15. Because I saw someone that I was a sous chef with and then became my chef de cuisine with on there. And I was like, oh, I can do that too, I think. That was Adrian. So Adrian and I worked at Red Rooster together. So I like knew how she cooked and knew how I was like, oh, I think I can do that as well. And then, like 17 kind of like solidified it for me. I was like, I think I can do this, It won't be easy, but I think I can hopefully not go home first.
What was the process like for you? I've heard horror stories of trying 15 times like Dan Jacobs last year and then finally getting on last year. What was your process of getting on Top Chef?
I had gotten asked once. I think I applied once and then I got asked again. And that was it, like the 3 times. Even though I thought I could do it, I didn't necessarily actively try. And I think the first time I was like, man, I really want to get on it was the Houston season because, you know, my connection to Houston and I loved Houston. And it was like one of the first seasons where I was like, oh, I recognize where they are and I connect to like what they're going through right now just through that. But that was like the first time I'm like, all right, I actively want to be like on this episode, like on this show.
Do you have an opinion of whether Top Chef Houston, or I would just say Houston as a city, like the greatest talent pipeline on Top Chef? Like, do you think that the alums should weigh heavier, or where you're from? Like, do you think Houston is like Top Chef capital of the United States, or would you say it's somewhere else? Because Joe Flam is very, very opinionated on this. That is absolutely Chicago.
Listen, like, once again, I'm not say a black and white stats guy, but like they have more winners than us in Houston. You know, like Izard and Flam.
Yeah.
So I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But as in like people who've done well overall, I guess. I mean, Evelyn was a finalist. Dawn was a finalist. Michelle was a semifinalist.
Michelle Wallace, yep.
I think we have a really good consistency of doing damn well.
Yeah. Yeah, and Miami has their own, you know, group down there. Nina Compton has ties to Miami. Jeremy Ford. I think every city now. Charlotte has really few in the sense of Jamie Lynch, 2-time Top Chef contestant. Sam Talbot was on Top Chef, I think season 2, I want to say.
Yeah.
But like Sarah Bradley, Tristen Epps, both coming through Johnson and Wales, Charlotte. I think there's gonna be this upcoming season. I haven't heard anything. So for people who are asking me constantly, like, where can I go? What, like, how do I get tickets to an event or whatever? Are you going to be? I have no information. Okay,
sure.
But I can tell you that North Carolina has some serious chops when it comes to Top Chef, and Savannah Miller from last 2 seasons ago, Manny Barella, Katsuji, of course. There's a lot of Top Chef ties to North Carolina, and I hope that we can kind of feature that with you, Tristen, and spotlight you and your ties to North Carolina, because I do think it deserves not to be in that same Mount Rushmore of Chicago and Houston, but I think it punches above its weight.
I mean, it really is a good city. It really is a great city. I'm such a fan of it. I'm a big Panthers fan, even the Panthers with the Hornet colors.
For those who are listening, he's got his Carolina Panthers hat on right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Keep pounding. You know, I'm all about them. So that's, I mean, I'm there probably twice a year to go to a game. I'm going to a preseason game here in Houston, with the Panthers coming into town. So I'll probably get my ass kicked here, but
so your team Bryce, you believe? Yeah.
I'm team Panthers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm, you know, I come up in eras, right? Eras. So like I am still on the Steve Smith era. I'm still on the Cam Newton 2015 era. So like, I know there's possibilities. And I'm hoping Bryce can get there, but yeah, if Team Bryce is on the Panthers, then yeah, I guess I'm Team Bryce.
Yeah, I'm hopeful because the spotlight on Charlotte, the sports scene. Look, the Hornets have not been good for a very long time. It has not been the highest of times in the Charlotte sports scene. Although FC has had a huge year, the soccer squad, and it just, you know, with all of the basketball roots in North Carolina, Tobacco Road, and of course, you know, Duke versus Carolina. I don't know. Did you know that Tom Colicchio is a big UNC fan?
That
Tar Heel
is cool,
fan?
but I'm a Duke fan.
This is a problem.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. But yeah, I grew up a Duke fan.
Talk to me about this. What is the origin story of Tristen Epps, the Duke Blue Devil fan?
So I lived, I mean, I guess you could say I kind of grew up in Virginia Beach. And so Virginia Beach has no team. And so you're either you have to pick a side, right? You have to go either north or south. And so then you look at the two, like, I think the greatest rivalry in sports of Duke and like so pure, right? Like up until now, they weren't getting paid. Like it was just this like thing.
Yeah, hatred.
And
pure hatred. Yeah.
I don't know. My friends were like, I knew Jordan came from UNC. I knew that, but like I was just such a big fan of the Grant Hill and the Boozers and like the Christian Laettner shot back in the day. And my best friend who I played soccer or basketball with in the yard, like was a big Duke fan as well. And I mean, it was just who I clung to.
Look, you can't be perfect, Tristen. It's okay. You can't be perfect, you know? You're talking to someone who's in Kentucky right now, and they hate Christian Laettner on like.
Oh, I'm sure.
You wouldn't believe how much they hate Christian Laettner here, and they would also argue that Louisville, Kentucky is actually a larger and more bitter rivalry than Duke UNC. We'll have that. We'll say that for another day. It is. I mean, this is crazy. I grew up a UNC fan. I went to Wake, and so I've seen the other side where I kind of, when I went to Wake, I realized how much I hated people like me who liked UNC because of the colors and the history, but had no ties to the actual college.
Sure.
And now I can understand why people just are like, the saying goes, go to hell, Carolina, go to hell. And I get it. You'll probably get a little bit of that this season on Top Chef.
Sure.
is basketball history here in North Carolina and Charlotte. Of course, Jordan owning the Charlotte Hornets, and then of course the NASCAR team that, you know, Charlotte is the capital of NASCAR in America and racing in America, maybe the world. And so you're probably going to see a little bit of that history in this upcoming season at Top Chef. But enough about all that stuff.
Sure.
Let's get into this past season at Top Chef. You said you got off to not off to a great start, or like you didn't win the first episode, and we drafted you somewhere in the 8 to 10 range. Where was your confidence levels throughout this season at Top Chef? You said, you know, you got off to an okay start, but you had a little insecurity coming in, seeing Henry and some of these other chefs that are very, very credentialed and have great mentors, etc. Mm-hmm. When you came to Top Chef, what was the roller coaster of emotions for you?
So when I came, I was confident in what I knew. I was confident in what I knew. I wasn't confident in what other people knew, and whether that's, you know, greater or more. I'm meeting Massimo for the first time. I'm meeting Shuai for the first time, and he's like, "Yeah, I have two, restaurants," and everyone's kind of rattling off their stuff. And I was like, I was proud of myself. Like, I have a James Beard nom. I've gotten Michelin recognition, but everyone else was like, Katiana's like, yeah, 3 Michelin stars as a CDC. And I worked for, and I wasn't very vocal about the things that I did, like Vinny did the Bocuse d'Or, but so did I helped. The only thing is I was too old to do it and be like on the team, but I was there helping, and I was there in the planning of it. But I didn't want to say that. Like, I had also, worked with Daniel Boulud on multiple times, and
That's not on your resume. I'm reading your resume and all this on your bio.
But it doesn't
need to be. This shit is
impressive,
man.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't need to be. It doesn't. Those are things that don't represent me, and I just want the things that count. And those things don't matter. Like, in the end, like, you put your hand on your knife and you cook, and at the end, it doesn't matter who you worked for or what you did. Like, in the end, you cook for yourself, and then hopefully yourself is good enough for somebody else, and that's it. Like, it doesn't need to be.
Your fourth episode, the fourth episode was your first win with the Figgy Duff, the Guyanese pepper pot, lamb fat, Madeline. That was one of the all-time. It started a trend with you where it was like, I don't even like this thing, but I'm going to make it the best tasting thing of the day, right? Yeah. Is that like a weird secret talent that you have, that you can identify why you don't like something, but you can like make that into like a delicious meal? Like it's happened a few times this season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I was a picky eater growing up, but there was definitely things I didn't like. And I realized that, sorry, my mom doesn't have any sort of way of listening to this. So, like I noticed that it wasn't ingredients that I didn't like. It was just how they were being prepared. And so that's always the mindset that I've always had. Now, pickles are still gross. I've tried them more ways than I ever can. And the Figgy Duff was, I mean, it was dry as the Sahara Desert. And
anchovies, is that on your list too? The anchovy
I love
ranch?
Anchovies. Love an anchovy.
What was it that episode? So it was like the pizza, you made something with the pizza where you're like, yeah, actually, maybe it was pickle
I don't
grave.
like ranch on pizza. Like that's
ranch on pizza, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's not my thing. But I mean, ranch is fine. Do I eat it? No, not necessarily. But if it's on the table with a chicken finger, like I might dip it. I'll probably dip it. But I always call it like sauce American Blanc or something like that when I do put it on the menu, or like buttermilk dressing, just to like avoid the whole ranch thing.
Ranch, yeah.
But
unless Hidden Valley is sponsoring this podcast, we love ranch, of course.
But yeah, I mean, I've always noticed it's not ingredients that people don't necessarily like. It is just, it has to be able to be prepared in some way. So, the Figgy Duff was the first thing. I had to like think about how it was. And I'm glad that like Corwin was also on it with me, another Caribbean. And I could be like, yo, does that remind you of like Trinidadian black cake? And he's like, actually, it really does. And so at that point, we both had like a direction to go to. And there it just became something good.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you feel, we ran the stats that you were up there with like two other top chefs on this run of winning 3 out of 4 elimination challenges in the middle of this competition. Did you know while you were on this run in the middle of the competition that you were like, oh, this doesn't happen very often?
No, not at all.
It's just one day at a time. You're like that coach who says, we're just going to win tomorrow. We're not winning the NCAA tournament today. We just got to win tomorrow.
No, it's just, one day at a time, one survival at a time, that's all it was. I mean, I think after I felt like I got a tiny bit of confidence back after like the Maple episode, and like, all right, we're on the top. Awesome. And then, like the ice challenge, I was on the top on that one, and then finally got a win, which felt good. But yeah, I didn't know I didn't feel like I was on a roll. I just felt like I wasn't losing, which was great.
Yeah, that's actually a big reason why Carly Levitz, our stats analyst here at Pack Your Knives, she broke down the numbers, and you should check this out on packyourknives.com on our Substack. If you're not a subscriber, you got to do this now. Become a paid subscriber to get all of these posts, all these breakdowns, statistics and reviews and all that stuff. And get these pods when they air. As soon as the episode airs on Top Chef, on Bravo, you get these episodes. There's lots of perks of being a Pack Your Knives paid subscriber. One of the things that she did is this GOAT stat that she had come up with, basically coming up with this idea through baseball, and on base percentage plus slugging percentage is OPS. And she basically combined two metrics while watching Top Chef. She was like, oh, how often are you in the top and how often are you on the bottom? And what if we could kind of combine those stats? And I'm butchering this somehow along the way. But the thinking is that you were on the top quite a bit and you were very rarely on the bottom. And if you use that as a rubric, you had the best NPT plus, her metric NPT plus of anyone who lasted, I guess, halfway through the competition. Sam Talbot, Buddha Lowe, Richard Blaze, Brooke Williamson, Sheldon Simeon, Shuai Wong, Nina Compton. Michelle Wallace, all of these great top chefs in the top of this category.
Wow.
Do you have a sense, because you love stats and you love sports, do you have a sense on what is the best way to evaluate? Put yourself aside here for a second.
Yeah,
Put yourself aside. What do you think are the markings of the best top chef competitors of all time? Like, what do you want to see? Is it wins? Is it not finishing in the bottom? Is it how do you value quick fires? And now that you've been on the show, how do you evaluate performance on Top Chef?
Two ways, right? Like two ways. And this kind of goes back to the LeBron Jordan thing, right? I evaluate it on, like, personally, who has the most interesting stuff and is successful with it. And they don't have to win, but who is in the top the most is my biggest thing. Don't have to win. That's fine. And then the other one is who has won the most at the end. So, I mean, Buddha's at the top, right? Like, to me, it doesn't matter any other stat except for the person that won the most. And right now he stands alone. And, you know, that's why I always say Jordan, you know, he's got the most out of the two, you know? So, and I guess if we're really talking, Bill Russell, but yeah, but
where do quick fires fit into your algebra here?
Allen Iverson, practice? You talking about practice?
Yeah. It's an exhibition to the main event, you're saying.
It is. I still take them very seriously because, you know, perfect practice makes perfect, not practice makes perfect. So you need to, like, take it very seriously. But yeah, I mean, the main event is where you really need to, like, go for it.
You had the 63% TOW, your top or win percentage, which was second all time according to Carly Levitz's metrics. Sam Talbot from I think it was season 2. Yeah, season 2. He was a finalist in season 2. Charlotte, by the way, raised in Charlotte. Sam Talbot had a 64% top percentage, which is ridiculous on its own merit. Buddha, 58%. Brooke Williamson in season 14 when she won it, 58%. Schwei, 58%. So one name that's not on here is Massimo. And I felt like in the second half of Top Chef this season, he started just like really coming on strong. Mm-hmm. The editors kind of made it seem like there was a budding rivalry. Eric Adjepong, he was certainly saying, I feel like it's going to come down to Tristen and Massimo. That's where this is all headed. Can you once and for all just like tell us about the things you love about Massimo, or the things that were like, man, he like... It feels like we're butting heads on some things. Like, can you put it in for the audience? Because it seemed like he was a worthy match for Tristen Epps.
Oh, absolutely. Man, I want to say this nice. And I want to say it like diplomatically. So I have a ton of respect for Massimo. He is a technician. He's a tactician. He is an amazing cook, like an amazing cook. I could tell that from when he brought like basically a sniper rifle case as his knife roll. And if you ever notice, like he just carries around a silver briefcase that definitely looks like he's a hitman, especially with like the hair and the all black, like it says assassin all day long. Except for his voice, would be a horrible assassin in that way. Just how loud he is.
Not very discreet, is he? Yeah.
I think that we had a difference of opinion on what the ideal, like our idealisms on food. And sometimes that butted heads, and sometimes, most of the times it butted heads. And it seemed at the time for me, like he didn't have a respect for the type of food that I was trying to elevate to where he's at, you know, with a fine dining restaurant. And that's not just him. That's most of the world. But I had to always explain to him that like Escoffier wasn't the first. and I just needed to show him a little Epps Gaffier. So that's where it went. When he started to kind of like, after I think Restaurant Wars started to really kind of pick up some steam, it was, honestly, it was really cool to me. You know, I got to see, I mean, the classics, which was cool.
There's so much mustard on that. So much sauce on the way you just said that. Yeah,
I mean,
cool.
I got to, there's nothing wrong with the classics. I just don't look at them as the classics when there's older stuff that's just not known.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my stuff. And my whole thing was learned it, been there, done that. I was forced to learn that stuff. And now here I am now. But once again, one of the most amazing cooks. And some of the stuff that he did, whether it be old school to me or not, was executed perfectly.
Yeah, yeah, like his Salmon Wellington that he did for Buddha. Well, yeah. He didn't do it for Buddha, but of course, when the audience is Buddha and he's doing a Wellington, and Buddha just quite literally ate it up and it was like, "Yep, that's." Did you know at that point you're like, "Oh, he's gonna do that"? Okay, all right, I see you.
Yes and no. Like there was episodes where I knew, like, I'd see an ingredient and I'd be like, all right, if he picks that ingredient, I know what you're going to do. And that's fine. I'm sure he looked at me and was like, I bet you that's going to be spicy. Like, you know, and there's like, yeah, certain things like the pickle episode. I knew he would go for cornichons and then probably immediately make a tartare, right? It's the thing that you do with that, right? Like, But once again, amazing stuff. Like, would I have been able to make my own pastry, make that Wellington in 2 hours? No, I wouldn't have. Not at all. Not the way he executed it.
But that's in another way why it's sports is like, you know, sometimes LeBron can just get the ball and barrel down the paint and not need sort of finesse. And I'm putting this in quotes, finesse to just dominate. And other players kind of have to live on the perimeter and have a little bit more better footwork or technique. They're both GOATs. They're both great players, but they do it differently.
He still has 5 championships.
I had a stat the other day that Cam Thomas of the Brooklyn Nets has twice as many 40-point games as Tim Duncan.
Wow.
It's like, that can't be right. But it's like he dominated. And Tim, very close to my heart as a Demon Deacon. I feel like just methodically and played in a kind of a statistically depressed era. So like, yeah, he might have had 50, 35-point games, and in today's era, it would be 55.
Yeah.
But it feels like in Top Chef, it's a similar thing is you can go and produce an incredible dish in the same way that you can put the ball in the hoop.
Yeah.
1,000 different ways. It doesn't necessarily make one better than the other as long as you put the ball in the hoop more times than the other person. Right?
That's it.
Yeah. So there was a moment, what was it? The basting thing where you at the judges table where you're like, I think what remind me, it was he said he didn't want to use French technique or something, and I wanted to present something that wasn't French technique, and you're like, but you basted the meat. So
I mean, there was more to that, and this was all like in jest, right? Like we were all having a bit of a good time, and you know, he was just like, I'm gonna do no French technique. But like, yeah, he like he had literally something called a filet mignon, French. Yeah. And, you know, like he trusted, he basted it, he confit it, French. He made a Bordelaise sauce, but instead of using wine, he used the juice from the berries, and then he added bone marrow, which is what makes a Bordelaise sauce, French. Basted it. I mean, you would call it French. So once again, a really delicious dish. That one like gave me a little annoyance because I really thought I had that one. But I mean, yeah, I mean, that was it. Maybe they edited it just a little bit. Like I was like snitching, but we were all like in jest. There was a lot more to that conversation at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there anything edit wise that you would like to set the record straight on this season of Top Chef that you're like, man, I wish this got in there? and they didn't show that. As you're doing the rounds and talking to people, what is the thing that keeps coming up where you're like, oh, I wish that really aired, or maybe I wish that didn't air? Yeah.
I probably have a lot of things that I can't think of one right offhand.
It's a sign of a good edit, is if there's nothing that's just like makes your blood boil, or that you wish you really got on the show but didn't.
The only thing that was like strange. Oh man, I'll probably get my ass kicked for this. Was like our very first episode, our very first challenge was actually a relay race, and it wasn't shown as a relay race, but that was it.
Okay. You said you did your eggs 7 ways in one of the challenges, but I feel like you said you reached out to us after we did our recap. You're like, I actually did eggs 7 ways on that dish. Is it sometimes when are you presenting and stating what the dish is, like several takes of that? Because when I saw it was like it was a beef tartare dish with potato chips on top, and there were a lot of different egg components in there. Did you brand it as egg 7 ways, or is it just like, oh no, I did egg 7 ways, even if it didn't come off in that episode?
Maybe that way. I don't remember if I like said it. I know I said all the components, and my explanations were probably usually a little longer than needed. So maybe that those are the things I wish people heard, was especially in the finale. Like, I was like spilling my guts on like why I did these dishes, and like it didn't all come out, which was fine. But yeah, there was definitely some things that I really wished that that was said. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I did it a lot of ways, like eggs a lot of ways on that tartare.
The oxtail dish, there's a few things we've already mentioned on this season where it was like, I really hope you bottle this up and sell it, like so we can all enjoy this, and I can ship it and have the anchovy ranch, or the what was it, the shrimp toast that you did in the finale. Is there certain dishes that people keep asking you about, and are you thinking, yeah, I gotta do that at Buboy?
I mean, most of the finale dish, especially like the chicken dish and the oxtail dish for sure. Everybody wants to try the pickle dish, but I probably refuse to make it again.
Had a principle. Yeah.
The pepper pot dish. Honestly, I've gotten so much support from the Caribbean community that were like, I never thought I'd see a pepper pot like win on Top Chef. I never thought I'd see pone on Top Chef. I never thought I'd see like the Venezuelans, because you know I'm in Miami a lot. Like I never thought I'd see a cachapa on Top Chef, and but like yeah, I've been told to do like the pizza a lot. I've been told to try to do the pickle dish again. My little chicken wing,
with the Carolina Gold rice, the chicken wing. Yeah. You put him on the clock for that one, right?
I did. I think that's maybe I tried to do a little too much on that one. But timing kind of screwed me on that one because I was the third person to present. So I think it would have came out perfectly if I didn't have to like stand behind 2 people in between their explanation and their like feedback. But yeah, I really wanted to try to play into the challenge.
Yeah. Restaurant Wars. It was an incredible episode to watch. But for you to live it, and I don't know, do you watch that episode again, or you're just like, that's
I've never
whole
seen
thing.
It.
Yeah, never seen it.
Never seen it. Yeah, I couldn't. My mom went and saw it, so I asked her how it was and was it okay, and she felt okay about it. But yeah, I mean, she cried. She said she was proud, and I'll just take it from there.
When you were announced that you won that episode as executive chef of the restaurant, were you even like present? I'd imagine just the emotions were just way overpowering in that moment.
I was really happy to have pushed through it for a reason. I don't want to say I had nothing to lose that day. I had immunity. I could have.
That's right.
I had immunity, and I know how disappointed like people would be if I walked away or I like half-assed it, and I mean, I felt like people would feel that way. And at this point, I was on a team that hadn't done necessarily amazing up until that point. And I had a chance to like help them do something amazing in one of the hardest challenges in.
You're thinking about them when that tragedy happened in your life, Tristen. That says so much about you.
I mean, it was just it was good distraction, and I'm a team person. Like I am, I'm a person who I show up for my team. Like sprained ankle, I'm there on the sidelines and traveling with the team. Like I couldn't let them down and be down a person when I was there.
This is flora and fauna, Lana, Massimo, who is front of house, and Vinny on the squad. Lana and Vinny, of course, always together.
Always together, man.
Wild how that just every episode. So with this team, first course cured and smoked trout with pot liquor consomme. Lana, I think maybe that was her like signature dish of the season. Just love that that dish that she did. Your grilled mushroom escovitch with Canadian bay scallop, ajo blanco, dawa. So that was yours. Then the second course, potato celery root truffle pithivier. I'm pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
With lamb jus. Lana again. Butternut squash confit with grilled pork and XO sauce. I love a good XO sauce. And then third course, corn crème with corn ice cream. There's the French again. Grilled blueberry condiment, blueberry crisp from Massimo, and then the milk chocolate custard with the dirt chocolate and caramelized parsnip from yourself there. You guys won. You won Restaurant Wars. Feather in your cap for that, but also just this season of Top Chef. What was putting aside Restaurant Wars? What is the memory that sticks out to you? Going to Milan and making kind of this Afro-Caribbean influenced 4-course meal that was, as far as I can tell, a showstopper front top to bottom. And the only time that people were like quibbling with anything was when they didn't like, I don't know if get it is the right word, or like, what was it? Kristen and Blaze were like, I don't know if I like this or not. But like props to Tristen. It felt like they couldn't say anything about it because they didn't understand the dish or didn't like what how did you read the dessert there at the end of restaurant the final
I weirdly liked the feedback of it because I wanted to challenge. It's funny because I'm like actively making that dessert right now. Like I just put the pone in the refrigerator to like cool. So that's kind of funny. And it's the first time I've made it since that day. But I know it was like a challenging thing. And I know that people want desserts to be like super comforting and stuff. But like, I really wanted to like represent that. And, I could see the face on some people, and I really wanted to explain, like, it's not a texture you're probably used to, right? It's like kind of gummy and kind of dense and kind of this, but like it's flavored with that. And, Kazarip is not something you probably have like this a lot. And, like it's in the pepper pot, like it's a main ingredient in pepper pot, but like there's so many other things.
Yeah, I can look that up. Yep.
It was made from tiger nut milk. Like there was a lot of things that wasn't necessarily a normal dessert item or an ingredient that they've probably had at that point. And so I liked that they were challenged and, like I said, spilling my heart and my whole like point of view. And I was okay if they liked it or didn't like it.
I felt a lot of that with Eric's season with West African cuisine, where Tom Colicchio would be like, I've never had this before. What is this? And he would educate them. And then it was just this kind of weird paradox where the chef is educating Tom Colicchio on an ingredient. And I think that comes from like, I want to understand this and please educate me on West African cuisine or African cuisine. But I feel like that's also a through line to your story is in the same thing that Massimo, I hope I'm getting this right, is yes, we've traditionally thought of French cuisine as being like the pinnacle of cooking, but that doesn't mean that it's better or worse. It just means that's the way it's always been. And we've kind of held it up at that standard. But that doesn't mean that all this other stuff doesn't take just as much technique and just as much knowledge of the ingredients, just as much knowledge of like the color, the science of it all, and the preparation. And I think that's what at Red Rooster, or if it's at any of your other restaurants, I feel like it's kind of coming to this point where you're opening up your own restaurant where you got a bib at Red Rooster, right? A bib gourmand.
Yep.
Why can't you get a fucking Michelin star at your new restaurant? Like, why not? And maybe 10, 15 years ago, you'd say because like there aren't any Afro-Caribbean restaurants doing this or West African cuisines restaurants doing this. But like this happens in sports a lot where it's like the Russell Westbrook mantra is like, why not? Like, why would we not be able to deserve this kind of honor, even though 90% of this goes to a particular cuisine? And so am I getting this right? That
No,
what you're
sure.
going for?
I mean, I don't think a country's GDP should say what the value of their food should be. I mean, there's techniques all over the world and older than, like France has been a country, and they just had better marketing, like that's it. And, I'll always say, and I think this is I'm going to probably misquote, but Bourdain said like valuing a place and making their food cheaper in your mind is essentially racism. Like, and like that's just what it is. Like a taco might be $1 in Mexico, but if you're putting all the ingredients, more technique and all this other stuff, like, yeah, and then a taco at Empion in Mexico is a lot more money, and I can have Caribbean food in a styrofoam to-go box, and I can have it at Kwame's Tatiana and pay different prices, but it's the experience, it's everything that you get into it. But if you think that Caribbean food is only that to-go box, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And yeah, I mean, I say what I say, and I don't devalue anything. I love French food. I use French technique. I love all of it. I just hold it all at the same place.
Yeah. Some of my favorite meals in Miami were not at, SLS, and sorry, Jose Andres, you're great. But like some of the best meals I had in Miami had nothing to do with the price tag on what the bill looks like. It's like Chef Tally's up in, was it Hollywood? Was jerk chicken, and it was just like the most amazing. And when Kevin and I went there, I remember Kevin Arnovitz. I remember just looking around like there's not another white dude in this giant line. Like we are the only two white dudes. And I remember eating this jerk chicken and being like, Kevin, can we go back tomorrow? Yeah. Like it's just like the most amazing chicken you ever had in your life. And then the seasoning, the spice. You just like in Miami, you're exposed to so many different cultures in Miami that I feel like my time in Miami was really when my love for food blossomed, and it's a lot of because I'm getting Caribbean food, I'm getting South American food, even Russia, it's Cuban food. There's just so many different cultures in Miami, and then like that's when Kevin and I were like, we should just do a podcast on Top Chef because we just love eating this type of food, and we feel like all the different personalities of Top Chef. It just felt like we should start a podcast, and it culminates in us sitting here talking about, LeBron and Michael Jordan, but I do think it is a sport. I think likewise in like World Cup or Olympics is like, doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't. Like at the end of the day, can you cook good food in the same way? Can you score 100 points before the other team does?
Super excited for World Cup. BT Dubs.
Who are you rooting for in World Cup?
As long as Trinidad gets in, I know we're not going to go very far, but but them, honestly, I've always been a big fan of since I was a kid, Brazil, like Pele, He was like the first like black soccer player that I saw as a child, doing crazy stuff. But honestly, I really like the Belgium team as well. Weird, but I do, but yeah, probably Brazil.
I lived in Sao Paulo for 4 years, and so I have this weird. People think I'm like a bandwagoner when I root for Brazil in soccer competitions. It's like, well, I lived there for 4 years. Maze, our producer, says you're rooting for Belgium because they're anti-France. Yeah.
They have better.
Yeah, I ate rice and beans for 3 meals out of 3 meals a day in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Like that's all. Arroz de feijão is all I ate for.
Yeah, I love fish broth. I mean, yeah, I think I ate it every day in Miami. Like they have like comida de pobre, like fried egg, rice, beans, an avocado, some maduros. Like,
do you have any chefs in Miami you want to shout out? That some of your I loved. Man, there's a bunch of places, but what Red Rooster and Overtown and the story of Overtown. Not enough people know about Overtown and Liberty City. Shout out to Udonis Haslam of Liberty City. Any particular chefs in Miami or favorite restaurants that you'd like to shout out here? As we wrap up this episode, I've had you for quite a bit here, but Miami or Charlotte and Houston. I just want to kind of hear Tristan's favorite spots or chefs that you think deserve a little bit more love.
I mean, big shout out to Jeremy Ford. I while my restaurant was being built in Miami, I spent time there. So it was really fun just like working with him at Stubborn. Big up to like Aquino West with Rosie's and the project that he does with that. Enriqueta's sandwich shop was the best sandwich I've had in my life. Yep. And just they refused to sell their building, and I love it. I lived above it, and I was just like, now there's like a Whole Foods and a Trader Joe's all around. It's insane. And then just this little, a big shout out to Red Rooster. Like I'm not there anymore, but what they've done for that community, without regentrifying it, but rejuvenating it and bringing more attention to that neighborhood, which so much history. I mean, so many people. I could say. And I'll probably like forget people, but love those places. Charlotte, Greg Collier, Third and Fernwood, and Lee Louise. I don't remember if it's still open or if it's
Lee Louise is not still open, but Third and Fernwood, absolutely.
Yeah,
they're in
Uptown Yoke.
Midtown. Oh yeah, we can talk all day about Midtown versus Uptown and Downtown.
Oh yeah, that was like the biggest thing I like told Tristen and them, and I was like, please do not make the mistake and say Downtown.
Yep,
it is Uptown, Charlotte.
Uptown is downtown. So if you are staying in what you think is downtown, it's called Uptown. And Joe Kindred, actually, we've had Joe Kindred, who's got Kindred up in Davidson and Milk Bread, a growing empire in Charlotte restaurant scene. He is on the other side of this argument, and he wants to popularize Charlotte downtown as downtown. That we don't need to do this whole uptown thing, but it's up. Like when you drive around Charlotte, you can always see downtown Charlotte because it's on a hill. It's up. It's uptown. It's uptown. And I love that about Charlotte is that you're always like, no matter where you are in the city, you can just always see the skyline. And it's really cool. It's the smallest big city in America where it has all the big city elements to it, but it takes 15 minutes to get anywhere. It hasn't gotten to that point in Atlanta. Like the Atlantification of Charlotte has not happened yet, where it takes forever to get everywhere.
No, not at all. But love that city. Love Houston. Love it all. Honestly, everything has taught me so much in my life from West Virginia to Houston. So.
Yeah. Shout out to Marcus Samuelson too. His restaurant. We went there. Eric took me. I was like, where should we go to eat in the city? And Eric took me to Marcus Samuelson's restaurant. What was it? In
Sly and Marcus in the Murrow. Yeah. Definitely big up to that restaurant. My old executive, Sue, is the chef there.
Oh, yeah.
From Red Rooster. So excited. He's been doing a great job. One of the best chefs I've worked around, and I'm excited for whatever, the success he's having with Marcus. And I know Marcus will support him. So big up to that.
Before you go, prediction on Carolina Panthers record this season.
Oh, I'm thinking I'd just be so happy with 6-12 or something.
6 wins. Just get me 6 wins.
Just give me 6 wins. I don't mind going up incrementally, right? As long as, I don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Charlotte, I hope all this Michelin guide is coming to the Carolinas.
Oh, cool.
I've talked to a few chefs in town who are really excited about it. And also, like, I'm getting educated on the process too, is that a bib is also something really important that restaurants are trying to go for.
Yeah.
Can you give like a 30-second, just like when a Michelin guide comes to your town, like what should customers, what should foodies, what should they like know about Michelin and what chefs revere it to be, and what are some things that, like, it's not always about the star. There's other things that you should be on the lookout to.
Yeah, I mean, it's not always about the star, for sure. I mean, I want one because I want that accolade for the cuisine. But bib restaurants are more accessible. They are, I don't want to say more approachable, but like, because I think it's all approachable, but don't sleep on bib restaurants. Don't sleep on restaurants that don't have any recognition. But I always go to bib restaurants first, because I always think they're the best. Honestly, like, you get to eat them. They're usually people really putting their heart and soul in this stuff, and they're just more like homey. And I say that in a way that I've seen some like tablecloth bib restaurants, but take it as you'd like to take it with Michelin. I mean, in Texas now we have Michelin starred barbecue, which who knew it would get to that point?
Wow.
Do I agree with it being a star? I don't know. I think they should expand bib gourmands more, like 1, 2, and 3. But that's my own opinion. But I do like that Michelin's starting to
expand. If Mr. Tire is listening right now,
I think you're doing a great job. I just think that maybe there should be a little bit of separation. I don't think that, I personally don't think someone who's like serving something buffet style, delicious, maybe should have the same exact star that someone who's getting all custom plateware and like all farm to table stuff. There's a very large price on building those two different things, and I don't, once again, devalue them. I just think that there should be different delineations for the style of dining.
Is there a Top Chef, and we'll leave on this one, is there a Top Chef competitor, a chef tested, a contestant on Top Chef that you would love to face in an all-star season?
Boudeleau, let's go.
Start it up. Let's
go. I want 2. That's it. That's all. I want the opportunity for 2.
You want 2 and him not to get 3 is what you're saying.
I want 2. Yeah. I just, if I'm going to do it, I want to win.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you met Buddha?
Well, yeah.
I guess you did. Yeah, of course. Yeah. But I mean, outside of the Top Chef screen, have you? Okay. Not. All right, let's keep it that way. I want this to be icy. I want you guys to be at each other's necks. I love this. That's Tristen Epps. Go check out his restaurant. TBD, the location. Do you have any details you want to give out on Buboy?
Plenty of pop-ups, going to be going around the city or around the country, kind of taking it to different places. So if you see me, say what's up. If you see it, come by. If I'm in your city, keep pounding, y'all.
I was just saying, keep pounding. Thanks so much, Tristen. Really appreciate you coming on. And what an amazing season at Top Chef. I put you on Mount Rushmore, and I don't feel bad about that at all. At all. Like that was kind of a spontaneous thing. Was like, oh, I guess I got to do my Mount Rushmore here on a live podcast. And the stats, the story, the skills, all of it. And I'm feeling it right now too, is the personality. I just feel like you're just a wonderful representative of not just Top Chef, but food in America. So thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Careful with your drafting next season, okay?